There's been a lot of talk in the Mormon/ex-Mormon world lately about the church's problem with retention. Part of that is due to this article from earlier this month about how, to use an overused phrase, women are leaving the church in droves. Well, the Tribune is at it again, this time discussing what it means for a church that has previously used its growth as a sign that they are God's one true church to not be growing anymore. Well, they have plenty of converts, don't get me wrong, they just can't seem to keep people going to church, whether born in the covenant or not. It appears that article was inspired, at least in part, by this video of Emeritus General Authority Lawrence Corbridge that went viral on Ex-Mormon Talk, because Elder Corbridge said essentially that it shouldn't matter whether you're comfortable or feel like you fit in at church. Going to church could be an absolutely horrible experience for you, and that should be okay, according to this straight, white, wealthy, privileged AF man, but that the only thing that really matters is that the church is true. Well, considering the fact that only about half of those born into the church are staying by the time they're adults, and that number's even less for women apparently, I think it's safe to say that the general membership disagrees. I have friends, for example, who've concluded that it's so bad in the church that it doesn't even matter whether the church is true. If it is true, they're planning on joining the rebellion in the next life to topple the King of Kings. The article discusses how the church has been strangely silent recently about their struggles to retain membership. Predictably, some members are blaming liberal media and politics, activist therapists, and woke ideologies. And I admit there does seem to be a pretty strong inverse correlation between how educated someone is and how religious they are. Let that sink in. Patrick Mason, a church historian at Utah State University, points out that while the church has been silent about this, they have moved the goalposts. Ol Russell switched from focusing on membership growth to constructing temples. He announced more than half of the hundreds of temples throughout the world that are either existing or planned. Because if the church is constructing a gazillion temples, it must be growing, right? But now Dallin is at the helm, and he's redirecting attention yet again. I think he recognizes that it's not realistic to construct and maintain so many temples for a stagnant membership. So he's focusing on different metrics, such as the record number of converts last year, or the record number of missionaries serving at any given time. Numbers that still aren't sustainable. I mean, when members realize that it doesn't matter how many people you baptize if no one actually continues attending church, or that this record number of missionaries serving is only a temporary result of lowering the eligible age of service for young women, what metric will they shift to then? They're running out of ways of making it look like the church is growing like a stone rolling forth. And that's a problem, because that's prophecy that the church has hung its hat on for a very long time. They're going to have some splaining to do when the church eventually starts shrinking. Actually, speaking of prophecies, I prophesy, by the raise of the left hand with a thumb extended, that the church will stop reporting membership statistics before that happens, just as they stopped reporting their financials in the 1950s when they were struggling